Four books nahi hai. Actually, there are two books only. The titles are different. Publisher is different. So I started off with this book. दिखेगा ये. I have the controls. So what I did was like, first of all, let me just jumping your question, before publishing the book. Let's go back to how to write a book and how to start writing a book, how to start thinking of writing a book. So when I started thinking of writing a book, उस समय मैंने I had not done any writing. None of my articles were published in a paper or even in school magazine or something. So I tried doing a creative writing a course of Mr. John Haricharan, and he's supposed to be the Mahaguru of creative writing. So that is a long story. To cut the long story short, before you jump into anything, like before you want to cross the English Channel or something, you should do some preparation. At least go to the swimming pool and you know do some swimming. At least learn swimming before jumping into the sea. That's also the high seas. So do some writing, and there. Uh, Sorry. First thing is you have to read a lot. People say that they can write without reading. I don't agree with that. You have to really read 1,000 books to write one book, I think, minimum. So that is one thing. And then this one trick I learned very late in life. This is from Benjamin Franklin, who is considered the father of American Constitution and all. So what he used to do is he used to read the editorials and uh, write the contents in his own words, and he used to make poetry out of prose and prose out of poetry. So this is like honing your skills. So that is as far as the writing part is concerned. Then there are beautiful books, like I read it later after writing the books. This is one book called uh, The Artist's Way. Okay, so these links we will try and provide to the readers, to the listeners, later on. But this book is by Julia Cameron. It's basically a 12 weeks course, and it first thing you for writing or for doing anything creative, you need the creative energy, right? So this book unleashes a lot of creative energy. It's basically a 12-week course, and just I'll give you one example. There's something known as morning pages. So it says that write 3 pages in fast writing, continuous fast writing first thing in the morning. So it unleashes a lot of creative energy. Then there's a workbook also of the same, uh, you know this so you can, whatever lessons are there, you can have a note of it. And third book, I would suggest, there is a book called Big Magic by by Elizabeth Gilbert. So that book will tell you how ideas come to you. If you are a fiction writer, or even if you are a non-fiction writer, if you are a poet or you are a poetess or something. So how ideas come to you, how to catch up on the ideas, and how to capture the ideas. So that is one thing. The next book I would advise all the would-be writers. There's a book called The War of Art. Okay, it's by some Stephen Pressfield or something. So that is when you would have heard of writers that having writer's block, and that I'm not able to write, and I'm stuck, and I'm just finished, one chapter, and the next chapter is not coming to me. So basically, it tells you how to overcome resistance. A very, very, very short book, and very, very powerful book. Okay, so, and only thing, people ask me, what do I do to write a book? There's one word answer, write. You know, if you write one page every day, uh, one page every day in 300 days or something, 200 days, you'll have a book. 200 pages is considered a good, my first book is some 114 pages or something. So that is one thing. So this is cutting the long story short, and I conduct a course on creative writing. I call it inspired writing. You'll get the link on my website manishkumar.co. It's again a 12 weeks course. I have assembled all the knowledge from various books, and that is there. That's one. It's not a online sort of thing. It's one-on-one. One-on-one coaching on writing a book. So that is in short how to begin even thinking of writing a book. And the other thing I'll suggest is, in fact, Santosh, I've told you also that, if you want to do one thing in life before you die, is just write a book. Okay. So everybody has his own story. And, like there's a famous line, how your story can, be the light of somebody else's life. So whatever you have learned has to be documented for the posterity, for the progeny, for the posterity, for the future. So my and I have seen people become. There was a lady. She is a friend of. She's a wife of one of my friends. So she used to write poems on Facebook, saying, the title. She had named herself from a lesser known poetess. So I said, your poems are good. Why don't you try, publishing it? So she said, nobody's going to read my poems and all. So I just pushed her. So like finally she had three publishers bidding for her book, and in first month her book sold some 60,000 copies. So you never know what you have in store for you. So my what do you say, I request you with folded hands that at least even at a 100-page book, 150-page book, to write your experience, whatever little you have learned in life, or whatever major things you have learned in life, and it can really guide you. So everybody will have a different experience in life of what you have seen, what you have learned, what you have gone through, and it can be tremendous help to somebody. So that is my take on writing a book. So the thing about I'll just tell you, I have these many books uh, this way, all all written by first time authors. You know, some of them got inspired by my book or somebody. I don't want to get into details, but all these are one time first time writers, and they have had the courage to. And now let's get to the publishing side. It's very easy to publish the book. I'll just tell you with my example, you'll learn better. So this is the book. This is the first thing, like I showed it to you. This is the first book I wrote. So I did my, whatever little I practice I did on learned on creative writing, and then I had this blessing of this gentleman called John Haricharan, who's supposed to be the Mahaguru of creative writing. He said, "You write the book, I'll write the foreword." So that was a big boost. So again, not to preach again, but once you aspire, the universe conspire. Okay, so you think of writing a book, and somebody will show you the way to write the book. So I wrote the book. It was some 100 pages, and just I had the metaphor of flying, correlated flying with life. And then I got somebody. There's a company called Writer Force. So I didn't know editing and all. So I gave them the entire package. So they did the typesetting, they did the editing, they did the cover design. And I didn't even know what sort of font is supposed to be there in the book. So you don't need to know any of these things. And frankly speaking, you don't even know good English. They are editors to correct your English. Basically, you should have ideas. That ideas are like ingredients. So you have ingredients, and you give it to the chef, and they will make a good. They will cook a good book. So you can't say that I don't know grammar or my English is weak, but I want to write a book. Everything is possible, not to mention AI and all that. So I wrote the book. Say I sent the manuscript, and there's a lady, the uh, owner. There's a lady called Sunita Kriplani who edited the book, and she then copyright everything they do. Okay, and that time whatever money it cost me, around 40-50,000 rupees. uh, so and then they asked me, do you want us to publish the book? They were just a writing company. They had never published the book, but the foreword of the book was so powerful that they thought of getting into the writing. So the sad part is they offered me some amount. I was very arrogant to refuse it. That was good enough for a first-time writer. I won't tell you the amount because in my foreword of the book, John Haricharan had written the book will sell millions of copies. So my demand was something like 1 million or something. Okay, so it didn't. They. Okay, the next thing is there are two printing things. Okay, one is offset printing and one is POD, print on demand. Okay, print on demand is like what do you say, like the offset printing is like Xerox sort of thing. They have a mold, like the papers are printed, they have a mold, and like a lot of books are printed from that. Print on demand is like it's like printout that you take. That for Xerox they charge you 1 rupee, and for printout they charge you 5 rupees or 10 rupees. So print on demand is a quicker process if you want things quickly in 2-3 days or something. So you ask for print on demand. Otherwise, if you ask for offset printing, they'll take some time. But I'll tell you the cost for me. The cost of offset was 30 rupees per book, and for print on demand was 80 rupees. But I was very impatient to get the book printed, so I got some 1,000 copies printed. Paid some 15-20,000 for courier also. It came by air, so I was anyway. So that is one thing. Then I didn't know anything about selling the books. Okay, I was in the Air Force. I never sold a pen in my life, so I didn't know how to sell the book, and also the book was lying. I went to the it's a funny thing, you go to the bookstores, they will say, how many books have you written? If you say first book, they won't even talk to you. Okay, so you go begging, please keep my book, I don't even want money, just keep it on the shelf, and all that thing. So somebody will be very generous to put your book on the shelf, and if your book is 100 rupees, if you have print MRP is 100 rupees, the bookseller will take around 40%. Okay, so basically you will end up not making any money. You would have printed for 30 rupees, you would have paid something for the cover design for this thing, that will cost you some 50-60 rupees. 40 rupees this will take, you will get some 10 rupees or something. So uh, it's very funny game. So this is uh, anyway. So I people suggested me that you can't sell your books, so you and that time I was not doing any motivational talks also, no talks were coming. So hardly reach was, and I hardly yeah, I knew Facebook. I used to keep yeah, this is one thing I'll like to warn the would be writers, that I spent something like 5-6 lakhs on Facebook ads. Okay, I didn't know anything that this thing came, that you put your ad on the Facebook, and there's something known as PPC, pay per click. I didn't know ABCD of PPC. So they took some 50 cents, I think, 50 cent per click. Okay. So I had tremendous, my page had some 5,000 followers, and I didn't even sell one book there. And Facebook ads and Google ads and everything, I lost some 5-6 lakhs. I don't know how much. So that was one this thing. So somebody told me that somebody was very generous. My father's friend, he came to know that I've written a book. So he said, "Why don't you try this publisher?" This publisher was I don't want to name, but there was he was basically a Hindi publisher, and uh, I went to him. He was in Delhi, so he just saw the foreword, and the foreword was so powerful that I think that was the first English book. This is a very famous Hindi publication. I think one of the biggest Hindi publication. So the first they tried the first English book with me. So they made me sign some contract. I didn't even know what royalty was. They are very happy that the publisher has agreed to publish my book. And cut a long story short, like he treated us like my parents had also gone for the contract signing and all. So I got a deal of, I think, 7.5% on the MRP. Okay, so The second he changed the name of the book, it came as this: Be Your Own Pilot. He said, I have the controls. Is not, he didn't like the name. It feels like flying the aircraft and all. So he changed the name to Be Your Own Pilot. I said, you are the publisher. You better, whatever is good. So, so it happened. And the thing was, when I published the book, I didn't know about Amazon or something, but there was something, they had asked for this thing. There's something known as KDP. So just listen to this very carefully for all the would be readers, would be writers. The KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing. So what you do in this is you publish your book, okay? You send the manuscript with your cover and all. They publish the book, and it gets showcased on Amazon, all the channels of Amazon. Okay, it's there on Kindle, and it's there on the printed form. And it's again the same thing that I was telling you. It's POD, that they don't store the book. Every time a person buys the book, they print the book and ship it. So your book can be, selling in US, UK, and you know. So that was the time I just put it on KDP, and I got this deal from the publisher. So I had to, stop promoting my. I have the controls, because that was conflict of interest. So, but luckily, this publisher knew the thing, how things are there, and book got a lot of visibility. I started getting lectures and motivational talks and all. So, but yeah, now let's get to the basics. Even if you have a publisher like HarperCollins or Rupa, or you name whatever names, but if you are a writer, you become a salesman. So decide, you want to be a writer or you want to become a salesman, because it's very tough and very heartbreaking to become both. You are basically, you're like that used to have it in the trains. Yeah, pen le lo, 10 rupees ka yahan sasta milta hai, and whatever. So it's very humiliating for somebody who's not sold anything to start promoting. But if you want your book to succeed, you have to shamelessly promote. So slowly I was getting to know the tricks and all. So what I did was, I told people, on Facebook. Till then, I had some this thing, some 3,000, 4,000 people on Facebook. So I told people that you read the book and you write the review, and with a review, just paste a photograph of, put a photograph of yours with the book, so that your friends also know. So somehow it picked, and now let's get to what else I have learned. So I did it without any preparation. I just jumped into the, not even the English channel, into the cyclone sea without knowing swimming. And after that, I was trying to learn swimming and all. So what you can do before, as you are preparing for writing, you are doing your creative writing and all, start making your base. Okay, so what I'll suggest, if you're on LinkedIn, get on. If you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. And there is this thing called article. Start writing some article. So people start knowing your writing style and the topic you are covering. Start a blog. Okay, start a blog, and if you can even start a website. Of your expertise, whatever is your expertise, whatever book you want to write. And there's a very I'll give the links again. There's a beautiful book called 101 Book Proposals. Okay, it's basically how you propose your book to this big publications and all. So like writing is one thing, and selling, like I told you, it's not even 60-40 or 70-30, it's 50-50. Okay, writing is one part, selling is completely a different ball game, and you have to be there. So these and best thing is start cultivating friends in media, print media, electronic media, and this thing. Because why am I telling you this is, I tried, I had some, I used to have in my local town in Ranchi, I had uh, news coming for the of the book in the local newspapers. We had the launch here, and the media covered it very nicely and all. But there was nothing on the national side. So I tried and I got in touch with somebody from Hindustan Times, and that gentleman wrote a beautiful review of the book on the national edition of Hindustan Times. And you won't believe that time the book was doing something like 3,000 for the Amazon bestsellers rating. It was coming at 3,000, 4,000 or something. And with this uh, review in the Hindustan Times, overnight the book, it touched some 258 or something. Uh, Number 258 out of some or 10 lakh or 20 lakh books overnight, and that is then it becomes your selling point, that book is some bestseller and this thing. Then it starts selling, and then you show that to the bookstores also, so they'll be ready to take the book and keep it like keep it in the stores and all. So there's a lot of preparation, and if you know my request was like you start preparing for writing the book and start preparing for selling the book also. So in this book, I told you this 101 proposals. It gives you what all you should have. It's a basically a checklist of what all you should be. You should have a presence on social media. You should have a website. You should have a LinkedIn profile, and everything is there in the book. And how do basically it says why a publisher should uh, pick up your book, because nobody knows which book will become. It's like a movie. Nobody knows which. If everybody knew which book will like, publishers have been publishing for 50 years. If they knew which how to make a book bestseller, every book of theirs should have been become be a bestseller. So you never know what book. But if you go prepared with your like the whole preparation is there, that I have a following of around so many people on LinkedIn and this thing. So these people will. Now I'll tell you how things happen with the publisher. Okay, so when I'll just jump the thing. Uh, when I wrote this book, this is my comeback trail. Okay. When I wrote this book, I was in touch with a literary agent, So this is an autobiographical book, and I have used like all the methods of what is called screenwriting. It reads like a screenplay. So I gave this to my literary agent, and if you are really you really want to live your life like an author, then you should have somebody known as literary agent. Okay, like every successful person has a manager or something. So if you really want to do good and be a like then the literary agent takes care of all your like sending the books to the publisher and all. So they take a cut in whatever you get, what a royalty you get, one time cut, or regular cuts and all. So this literary agent, she pushed my book to various publications, and Harper Collins was ready to publish the book, but they said that they want the story in a linear form. Okay, like from A to B and B to C, and my book goes from Z to A and A to D, and like you will be really, if you are not very attentive, you'll get confused. I can see smile on Santosh's face. Yeah. so, so so they asked me that you make it in a linear form. I said, how can you make it in a linear form? It's not that I was born in 19 so and so, and it's like story. Like you don't. It's like telling a story. It goes here and there and whatever. So I refused that thing. It would have been, but. So if you want to take that bait, you have a literary agent, let the literary agent do the corrections and then push it to the publishers. And the thing is, if any good publication will take minimum 6 months to even reply to your mail. Okay, and if you write it yourself, you'll never get a reply. Okay, they will reply to the literary agent after 6 months minimum. Okay, so for 6 months, your book can lay eggs or hatch chicken or whatever. So they won't even look at your book for 6 months, 1 year also, so that is one thing. And everything, what should be the cover design, what should be this, what should be that, and everything is decided by the publisher, comma, full stop, and you don't have any say. They will say, we know, we are the first time writer, you don't know anything, so this is not on good taste, change this, change that, and some, so it depends. If you want to compromise on your whatever, uh, literary freedom or whatever. So so this is, and then let me tell you how things happen. Like I told you, even if you have a publisher, you have a literary agent, and you get the deal, and you sign the book. So depending, I'll tell you what happened with me. So I was very keen, that publisher should this first book, and he will he will take a lot of interest and this thing, to promote the book and all. So I saw nothing coming. I thought I'll have some book signing and go to the bookstores, and like all the celebrities go and sign the book and all. And nothing happened. I said, "What is this? Yeah, like there's no promotion going on." He said, very very gently. He said, "See, Manish ji, you are a writer and you want to be a celebrity, okay? And I have celebrities who want to be a writer." Okay. So there, I have books of Sachin Tendulkar and Shah Rukh Khan and this thing. So he's told me that I believe thousand. I thought in a day I publish 1,000 books. Like yours. So you do whatever you want, and then I'll tell you. Then is the thing is, you have to promote your book. So what was happening was, this is personal, but I don't mind sharing it. That. Uh, So I don't mind sharing it. The thing was that I used to go for like motivational talks. I used to get on my own effort, from my contacts or whatever. So I was selling the books, and if I like suppose 100 copies I order, and the price of the book is 100 rupees. So I was not even getting that royalty, on those books. So like he was making money, and I am selling it. I am getting you suppose 100 copies are being sold, so they are going directly to him or whatever. Like it was like I was more like a salesman to the publisher. Okay. So then I decided, like enough is enough. And a lot of, I don't want to discourage you, but a lot of malpractices also go on, not to say it on the camera. You just to give you, because you don't have any control over how many books are being printed, right? Okay. So if they say they are printing 1,000 copies, so you take it as they are printing 1,000 copies. They can even print 5,000 copies, and they give you royalty for 1,000 copies, because uh, this is, there's a lot of writers, authors who have written 3 4 books. They will tell you that it's very hard to track, and the response is also not very well. I'm like agony ant or something. Like I'm not very pained, but you don't get a very fair deal. So what I did was, I opened my own publishing house. It's called MK Media. So I took the rights from the publisher, and so this was from the publisher. You know, Be Your Own Palette. We changed the cover slightly because I had the copyright on the cover and everything, and we printed it from MK Media. This is the logo of MK Media. So you don't. Oh God. So you don't have to actually do your publishing house, but I wanted to have total control over things that are happening. Like it's something like becoming an employee and you becoming an entrepreneur. Okay, so if you are an employee, you are living somebody else's dream, and but your life is 25th or 30th. Whenever you get paid monthly. As an entrepreneur, you never know when you'll break even or something. So, and the thing is, I learned a lot. I didn't know what is font size and what type of fonts are there, and printing me what paper is used, what GSM is used. 50 GSM or 60 GSM. It was a lot of learning, but that's very satisfying that you have the control over things. You know where the book is going, how many books are getting printed, what price you want to set. Okay, and then I tried my best with my publisher to get the books on the my like bureau airport bookstall. That was my dream too. He like, it never happened. But when I published my book, with whatever little contacts I have, the book is selling on all the airports and the visibility is there. Now I know, and now I'm one school just recently, on 26th Jan, they had invited me. They ordered some 100 copies. Okay, so whatever profit, and just to give you basically the exact figures or something, like it takes whatever money X amount to print a book. You add X plus Y for your, typesetting cost and whatever, and you sell it for Z, so the margin is good enough, three times, four times, or whatever you. Okay, and you have the control because you have worked hard to create that system, that the pipeline, and that. And if I go for a motivational talks, I don't even have to pay the retailer or the bookstore, or whatever profit is there, it's mine. So one thing I know how many of you can do it, or you would like to do it or not. If you want to be a sellable author, you have to be a motivational speaker, and it works, vice versa also. That if you are a motivational speaker, try and become an author, because the amount of uh, mm, opportunities I got was more because of being an author. Santosh, it depends what sort of book you are wanting to write, right? Like, it depends. It's a technical book, so it's spreading the knowledge, whatever you have. If it's a fiction, the you writing a fiction is you creativity is there. You can imagine things and you can make to. I can't write fiction books. I don't have that creative mind. I can only whatever I've learned and all. I can write that. So the first, let me tell you. What happens after you write the book. Okay, the first time when you hold the book in your hand, like when you hold this like this in your hand, it's like you have been a father. It's like holding your baby in your hand. It's the I'm telling you, the satisfaction that you have. This is something, from zero, from scratch, from one blank sheet. You have created the book, and you have gone through all the process of writer's block, and not wanting to publish the book and not getting the publisher, and finally it's like after 9 months of pregnancy or whatever time you have taken, finally without cesarean, you have delivered a baby. So the I'm telling you, that is the ultimate, the only thing I remember was when I held my son for the first time. Okay, so that is one thing that is going to happen. That is with any book, that when you see this, see your name on the cover, it gives you, that you have arrived sort of feeling. And the second thing is, throughout history, till the time the civilization doesn't come to an end or something, your creation will be there. Okay, it will. When after 100 years, or I don't know how many years you're going to live or something, whenever you are going to do bye bye or something, your book will remain. And if it's fiction, let me tell you one thing. This thing has been, I've been wanting to write it, but let me speak this thing. We people do very useless work. We writers, musicians, artists who paint. and nothing's going to change. If I don't write a book, nobody's going to die. And if you don't write a song, if you don't create a music, if you don't do that painting, nothing's going to change. That nobody's going to die of thirst, or nobody's going to die of hunger or something. But people like us, me and my tribe, make things, the world worth living. Just imagine, there were no books, there were no songs, there's no art. So these are the creative people who create, like passion and jest and beauty in the world. Okay, so this is, as they say that God has created you, and your life is your gift to God, and what you create is your gift back to God. Okay, so so you actually become a creator. That feeling that I've created something, that before this thing, be your own pilot. People, and the thing is, uh, once you write the book, you become an authority. Okay, whatever type of book you write, as an author, you are an authority. And people have that respect for you. Like recently I told you I'm going to Canada. They have this Thompson Rivers University, and then there's a university of Edinburgh and Scotland or something. They are inviting me not because I was some squadron leader. I had some 5,000 hours of flying or something. Then I did some executive MBA in XLRI. The only reason that I've been invited is because, like, I have one or two books, and once you write the book, and whatever it takes, at least minimum, even if you write a very small book or something, it takes around one, at least any decent book will take at least 1 year for you to write, if you write it deliberately. Okay, and once you write a book, like I told you, you have to read 1,000 books to write one book, unless you are writing some GST ka manual or something, you know so so uh, so, and now I'll tell you what are the benefits. It makes you a better human being. That is the added benefit. When you write something, when you have to write the right word, when you're looking for the right word. It's not this peripheral benefits, like improving your English and all that is. But it makes you like, can you imagine? My mother tells me, why don't you, if I am slightly disgusted or really disappointed or some, my mother tells me, why don't you read your own book, be your own pilot. At least read your own book, what you have written. And so what comes to you, I'm telling you, I won't say about my comeback trail, but be your own pilot. It as if I was being dictated, that some, the amount of secrets that this book contains, I don't think I can ever write such a book like this. Okay, it all came to me like, it just flew. It took some 3-4 months to just write the book. So that is the benefit, that one, your when, if your book doesn't sell, or you have an additional source of income. If it sells, it's very good. You might become a millionaire, billionaire, or whatever. So I'll tell you, Bill Gates got a deal of 40 million for his book. Okay, so Barack got some 50-60 million for his book. So you never know. So that is a thing. So money wise, then you become an authority. Then third thing is you're spiritually growing, and fourth thing is you're leaving a mark on history. Even if you're not there, the book will all. And I'll tell you, there is some national resource library. Okay, so every book that is published, a copy is preserved there. So if you don't know, there's some, if you might be knowing, there's something known as ISBN. Okay, that 13-digit number that you have on the book. So every book that is given, and you cannot publish a book without an ISBN. So every book that has got an ISBN, that book goes to that National Resource Library in, I think, Hyderabad or some place, just for preservation. So these are the benefits. If you can think something else. Think it can be done if you're not really bothered. I was also advised that don't spend your energy on selling. It's not your domain. I like the best thing to make me do anything is say that it is not possible. So I said, okay, let me try. Whatever happens, that at least I can blame myself. So there is, I'll tell you, three ways of like we covered. There's one publishing. You get a literary agent, and they push your book to the publisher. Okay, publisher sells the book, so he gives you the royalty every year. Every year ending, he gives you so many books sold. So 1,000 books sold, this thing is so much. Your MRP is so much, your royalty is so much, so much money goes. You don't even know where the book is selling, not selling. You are getting your royalty. That is one thing. Then the second thing is vanity publishing. Okay, vanity publishing is they charge you money to publish your book. So there is no quality control. There's something like Notion Press and other. There's a lot of things are there. In fact, we are also MK Media is also doing something, but we are doing it a different way. So they will take you a one time payment of 40-50,000. They have packages, that you want after print support, you want a website, or you want a blog, or you want a promotion, with 30-40 newspapers will publish the review or whatever, the different packages. So, and then they will give you a dashboard. Okay, so many books published and so many books sold at so many places. So this is your, you get, then there is a bargain that if you pay, some money, so you get some royalty. If you pay lesser money, you get lesser royalty, or some this thing is there. Okay, so there you can just have a so-called control, that how many books are being sold, how many books are sold where, and all that. And then you have the addresses and the names of the buyers, and also you can do an email campaign or something. So that is one thing. And the third thing that I have found is, you do this self publishing, like you have somebody like me who starts on his own. Okay, no Notion Press, nothing. I do my printing, I do my thing, because I know what sort of paper is being used, what sort of quality is being maintained, and whatever is there. And I'm selling, I contact schools, and I contact this thing. So coming back to you, for you, I think if you can, if you have the energy to wait for 6 months, 1 year, or something, to uh, wait for the reply from the publisher or something, you can go have a literary agent, and approach them for pushing your book, and then forget about it. Then just yearly you get the check and be happy with that. Or if you want to be slightly more involved, then you can do the Notion Press thing. Or thirdly, if you really want to be a nerd like me, like so you can have your own thing. Yeah, it's very easy to publish a book now. Kindle, so you can do any day, and they upload the book within 24 hours. So today you upload it, and 24-48 hours they will review it, and tomorrow somebody in the US can buy your book. It's so easy. I say plus one thing. Let me tell you one more thing. Like maybe of use to people. When you do this Kindle thing, this POD, whatever book I don't have in India, like you have an option of doing a paperback or a hardcover. Okay, so you set the price. Okay, they don't set the price. You set the price. Average, like I have put, like for paperback, for my comeback trail, the price is around, okay, and for hardcover is 19 point something, $19.99. That is average general price of a 200-250 page book. And what they do is that, or they give you some 1,000 author copies on the print price. So they say that their expenditure on printing is $3, so we'll give you the book in $3. So it's bargain. It's like $3 is how much? 300 rupees, and the book that is selling for some $13. So you getting it. So you can get those books, and you can 1,000 copies you can gift to your friends or whatever. So that is, Amazon is doing like, I'm very happy, and the quality of the print and all is very good. I don't have that book, but that is the one word answer to your this thing. There is a book called Connectional Intelligence. Okay, a book called Connectional Intelligence. If you are connected, I'll tell you why my book, this Be Your Own Palette sold some almost 50, 60,000 copies because initially I didn't know what to do, how to do, and slowly and gradually when Facebook and this thing. So what I started doing was, every day I used to contact 10 people, five people I knew and five new people, so growing contacts, and it was not a very selfish motive. It was just to make friends and this thing and that thing. And then we had this, I'm from Sanic School, and we have this good alumni network and all. So if you come from a genuine space, people want to help you, right? Like, if your thing is like just read the book, like it's whatever 100 200 rupees or something. So just if you like it, send a review. I'll tell you, I'll just give you two examples, like how things happen. First thing is, you have to put your heart and soul in the book, whatever fiction, non-fiction, or you just can't do, sorry to name, who, girl next door and whatever, you know so if you just want to sell anything, just to, anyway, let's not get into that. So whatever is there, what I was saying. So uh, there was, I'm from NDA. So there was a guy who just gave me a message on WhatsApp, on Facebook Messenger, that I'm in Doha, I want to talk to you. So he gave me a call from there, and he said that, "Are you going for this NDA reunion?" I said, "No, I'm not going. For whatever reason." He said that, "I want 300 copies of your book." I said, "Why?" He said, "I want 300 signed copies of your book." I said, Why do you want?" He said, "I want to distribute it." Like, he was not even my good friend, he just happened to be in my class, and so he just found some, liking or whatever, and like he just, he had 300 copies, 20. If you just lift 30 copies, these are some 10 copies, these are pretty heavy. So 300 copies, he got it to Pune, and he got it in a car and took it to NDA, distributed it, and people think that I had distributed it, so that is one thing. Then somebody else, like from US. He was a chief intelligence officer. So he said, "Sir, okay, my luggage is permitting only 70 copies. So can I have those copies for my team?" So the thing is, the good works. I'm not trying to brag, but the the vibes, I will say, I was blessed to have access to writing this book. Nothing of mine, it is universal intelligence, that I was just a medium to write the book. So, and people will catch on to that energy, with the energy with which you write the book. To tell you very frankly, I didn't even know when I wrote this. I just love this world. I have the controls. So, and I just wanted to see this, I didn't know how much copies it will sell, what will happen. I just, in since my early childhood, I used to tell my friends that you write your names in the inside of the book. My name will be there on the top, on the cover. So I used to be signing autographs, that take my autograph, and one day you'll preserve it. So this is, you write the book, and again get back to some serious stuff, and karmanne vadka raste, you write the book, and it'll, if it has it if it has the energy, it will pick up. And only thing, you have to just show the direction, and contacting people and reminding them that, first thing is, write the book, review the book, please review the book, please refer it to your friends. And there's a it's ve- it initially it becomes very, like, if you have not sold anything in your life, it becomes very embarrassing for you to even remind the person twice to write the review or something. But one review is equal to around 100 sales, one good review. Recently I got such a good review from a very senior officer, so, people, it's basically word of mouth, Ajay, on the same note, you have asked this thing. I read these books, there's a book called Contagious. Okay. There's a book called Why Things Stick. Okay. There's a book called Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell. So three books will, make your book bestseller. So how ideas spread, how like products become famous and all that. And the last advice I want to give people is like, be patient, just set your sails and wait for the right time. Don't get disgusted. Don't get disheartened if it's not selling. Don't keep seeing, like I did every 30 seconds, I used to see the rating. 2001, 2003, oh, 2003, oh, very bad. So, so don't do that. Don't waste your this thing time and money on, and don't, if you're very expert, do this Facebook ads and Google ads and all. If you don't know anything like me, like a technical nerd or something, don't waste money on that. Just wait for your friends and all to start promoting, start talking about the book. And the best thing will happen is when people know you by, like people know me by, Manish Kumar, the guy who wrote Be Your Own Pilot. So once it happens, it will become a snowball,